Hey, ladies. Happy New Year again for those who haven't seen me yet in the new year. And for those who don't know me at all and are finding this video somewhere because maybe somebody shared it with you later, I'm Natalie, Coach Nat, the Keto Bikini Pro. And today is a very exciting, very special day. It is our kickoff of the Grace and Grind Challenge 2025, our third annual Grace and Grind Challenge. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to get this party started? Tackle your goals, create a vision for your life, for your health, for your body, for your mindset, for where you are going over the next 12 months, and then craft your plan for how you will begin over the next 21 days when we start the challenge. We're not starting the challenge today. So if you're if you're watching this live on Sunday, January 5th, today is not day one of the 21 days. I'm not throwing you right in. As usual, everything we do, everything I do in Keto Bikini programs, academy, all the things we do, all the free things, everything. We never just dive right in. There's always a preparation period. And really, that's what this Grace and Grind Challenge is all about. It is about preparing. It is about being mindful and intentional and thoughtful about what we're doing, about setting realistic expectations for ourselves, ambitious yet realistic goals, and creating a plan and a path forward, and then the big piece, not quitting when we are not perfect, when we miss the mark, when we don't do everything exactly the way we wanted to do it. We don't quit and we stick to it and we keep going and we keep showing up. So that's what the Grace and Grind Challenge is all about. So on today's video, I was going to call it a call, but y'all are not on the call with me. This is not a Zoom, but I see you over there in the chat. So shout out to all the ladies joining live on the chat. We have a nice group here. This is awesome. The way today's kickoff workshop is going to run is I will first do a little reminder, and especially for those who may not have even seen the Grace and Grind Q&A video I did, I'm going to do a quick, brief rundown on the logistical pieces of the challenge. How does the challenge run? How do you participate? What do you need to do? How will you be eligible for prizes? All that good stuff. So we'll go through that first, and then we'll get into the vision workshop, creating this vision, crafting your vision for 1 year from now, and then reverse engineering that into how do I develop and decide on what I'm committing to just in these 21 days, because we are not going to commit to all of our goals for 2025 at the same time. It ain't going to happen. Nobody can do that. I don't do that. I don't make a list of 12 things I want to do for the year and then tackle them all at the same time. There's no way I would succeed if I did that. So we will start big with the vision, and then I'll talk you through how to take that and develop that into what are the big rocks for you to focus on first in January during this challenge. All right. Now, as usual, if you have questions about anything I am sharing, pop them into the chat and I will answer your questions as we go, or I'll hold them until later if we need to do that, but I'll address all the questions on this chat. All right, let's go back up to the details of the challenge. So, Grace and Grind is all about finding the grace to love yourself through the process of uncomfortable change, which is what any kind of challenge should be for you. It should be this uncomfortable change that is going to require more from you, require something different from you, require you to think different, to act different, to show up differently. So grace, I see all the time being used as an excuse to let yourself off the hook. I didn't hit my macros. I ate this junk food. I didn't get my workout in, but I'm giving myself grace. And then the poor health behaviors continue in the name of grace for weeks and months, potentially on end, before you get back on track, right? This challenge is about finding that love and that grace and that forgiveness for yourself along the way, while not letting yourself off the hook and just jumping ship for weeks or months. It's about continuing despite any little setbacks or missteps you have along the way. So get ready to take off the all or nothing mentality and put on the grace and grind mentality, okay? All right. So, logistics. What this challenge is not. I'm not giving you a workout program. I am not giving you a diet plan. I am not giving you a meal plan or macros to follow. I am not telling you to follow a prescribed list of things that I do. I'm not going to tell you how much water to drink, how many hours of sleep to get, how many workouts to do per day. You are in the driver's seat in the Grace and Grind Challenge. You decide what those habits are that you want to focus on. And it is all habits focused. It is not specifically following a training program and following a diet to lose weight or to get in shape or whatever that is. Okay. Now, if you do want that, if you do want a training plan to follow and you do want personalized macros and all the other educational things, resources for diet and lifestyle changes, tracking, all that fun stuff, you can join the Grace and Grind Challenge at the premium level and join the Academy. And there is a discount we will be giving just for the Grace and Grind Challenge. I'll get to that in a moment. But first, for the challenge itself, none of that is required, okay? How it works is, I used this term last year when we talked about it in last year's challenge. OAR, or like you're rowing a boat, you're picking up your oar, paddling your boat, staying in your lane. What does OAR stand for? O is take ownership. A is take action. And R is take responsibility. So OAR, ownership, action, responsibility. You are the CEO. We are your advisory board. We are here to help you take yourself where you want to go. That's going to look different than the next person. So here's how it works. There will be a daily checklist, and this is not specific items. This is you are deciding what your daily checklist is. But there are 4 focus areas: fitness, nutrition, personal development, and self-care. These 4 main areas of life, if you can learn to tackle these 4 areas together at the same time, not saying if I want to do something for fitness, I can't focus on my nutrition. If I want to focus on my nutrition, I can't do anything for my fitness. If I'm going to do anything personal development, then my fitness and nutrition are going to go out the window. And God forbid, there's no way I'll be able to find any time for self-care while I'm working on these other things. That's not true. That's all or nothing thinking. That's everything else in my life has to be perfect for me to focus on this one thing. And that is not the way life works. Life is never perfect. All right, so how we're going to make this not overwhelming and not doing too many things all at one time is that in these 4 focus areas, fitness, nutrition, personal development, and self-care, you're going to pick one thing per area, just one. What is the one thing that you want to commit to for 21 days that will improve your fitness? What is there one thing in nutrition that you can do for your nutrition to improve your nutrition, to improve your health? What is the one thing you want to focus on that is a personal development item? And we're going to get into that in a little bit. We're going to dig into, in the workshop part, dig into examples, ideas. This can be so many different things when it comes to personal development. So do not limit yourself in thinking these things have to be a particular thing, one thing or another. And then self-care. What does that mean, right? We're going to get into all of that. It doesn't have to be hour-long bubble baths and going to get mani-pedis. We're going to talk about what self-care can look like and some examples there as well. But the key is you're picking one thing in each area, and it is about not letting the ball drop on one area because you're doing something in another. We're going to get into some strategies of how you can have these 4 activities or 4 habits you're working toward all at the same time without dropping one or another. All right. Now, the next piece of the challenge, the big piece of the challenge, because the habit part is about, we want this challenge to support you in moving forward on your goals. So those 4 habits that you're going to pick are going to be directly related to the vision and the goals that you have for yourself in 2025 and beyond. That is not the challenge part. It may sound like it is, but that's not the part that we are going to be evaluating. I'm going to be evaluating for things like prizes and recognition. That part of the challenge is the real big part of the challenge I want you to focus on is every single day of the 21 days, you are going to post in the KBS Facebook group, our free private Keto Bikini Secrets Facebook group. You are going to rate yourself for that day. And I hate to even say yourself. You're not rating yourself, because one of the big things with Grace and Grind that we need to understand is that I am not good, bad, terrible. None of this means anything about me. I am not good, bad, or terrible, or horrible, or insert whatever self-deprecating statement you want to make here based on what I did or did not do today. So what you're really rating every day is not yourself. You are rating your actions. You are rating your behaviors. You are rating what you did or didn't do. You are reporting back on your activity for that day. Okay? On your progress, not on you as a person, none of this. And that's the big piece, y'all. When we can separate that, that's what will keep us from starting and stopping and starting and stopping. Because we're not now saying, oh, I'm such a shitty person because I couldn't get this done today. So now I quit because now I'm embarrassed and now I don't want to show up. So the goal in this challenge is, how many times can I show up and follow my sword if I wasn't perfect? Because honestly, that is a bigger motivator, driver of your future success than crushing it every day. If you can easily check in every day and say that you crushed it every day of these 21 days, you probably didn't set big enough challenges for yourself. Because if it's a real challenge, you're not going to crush it every day. That's life. Life is, we don't crush it every day. I don't ever crush it every day. So for each of the 4 areas, you're going to come into the Facebook group, and don't worry about how you do it or any of that. We're going to have a template. I'm going to have worksheets for you, quick reference images that have some reminders of how to do all this stuff. So you're not going to be flying blind. Matter of fact, a lot of the things that I'm talking about today, when we get to the workshop piece, I will be providing you some PDF guides on how to do those things. Okay, so you don't have to take a ton of notes from this. You can if you want to, but I will be providing you the summaries and the worksheets for them. So there will be a little daily check-in prompt in the Facebook group. There will be an auto prompt that will go up every day to remind you to check in. And then every day I'm holding myself accountable to the same goals as you and the same challenge. And I will be coming in and dropping my report every day. So you will get essentially 2 reminders to check in. You're going to get the auto prompt from the Facebook group, and you are going to get my personal check-in. So you will see both of those things every day. So every day, what you're going to do is come in and say, out of those 4 things I committed to, did I crush it? Did I just get it done? Or did I not do it at all? And I'll have a little icon you can use, or if you have any ideas, I mean, literally we can say crushed it, got it done, didn't do it. As simple as that, right? 1, 2, and 3, how are you going to rate that day? Consider it like that. You're rating the day, right? Because I think that concept of rating ourselves can be really difficult on our psyche. So you're rating the day. How well did this day go? How well did I show up or not today? And it's really important that you own that. I would rather you come into the group and say, I did not show up today. I am not making any excuses. I didn't show up. I let XYZ get in my way. And here's my plan for tomorrow. Here's what I learned today. And there's this concept of knowledge. I see a lot of the time in check-ins, because I ask the question in our weekly check-ins in the Academy, what were your challenges this week? How did you overcome them or not overcome them? What did you learn from them? There's a lot of, I learned XYZ. I learned that I need a plan going into the day, or else I will end up eating off plan and eating and not being able to hit my macros. If the following week you come in and you learned the same lesson again and again and again and again, the truth is you did not learn it yet. You haven't learned it because you haven't put it into action. You do not know it yet. So when we talk about knowledge, knowing is doing. If you have not practiced it, if you have not put it into action, you do not know it. So if you're telling me you learned something, what I expect to see on the other side of that is, now that you have learned that and you have this knowledge, you're going to do something about it next time. I learned that I need a plan. So tomorrow, here's my plan. I would rather see you check in that way. Here's my daily check-in. This did not go well, and this is why, and this is what I'm going to do about it to make sure that doesn't happen tomorrow. This, y'all, this is what it takes to make real change. This is what it takes. This is what it means to be owning it, to take responsibility. It's not, that didn't happen, I learned a lesson, and then 3 weeks later, oh, I learned I can't tolerate gluten. Well, supposedly you learned that 4 weeks ago. So this time, it wasn't something you needed to learn. So let's own it. What happened this time? This time I knew that gluten didn't work well for me, and I chose to eat the thing because it tastes good. Right? Let's own it. That's what ownership is all about. Nancy asks, will you share the Facebook page to join? Juliana, can you do me a favor and drop the link? You usually are spot on with those things. Could you drop the link, or Mary, drop the link to the Facebook group in the comments, please? And then following this live video, I'll have all of that in the description. So for those who are watching the replay later, the Facebook group is always linked underneath all of my YouTube videos, and it will be linked under this one as well. All right, let's see. So at the end of every day of the 21 days, the main part of this challenge is you're checking in every day. You're giving us a rating. You're telling us what happened that day and what your plan is for the next one, if you need to overcome something or do something different tomorrow, okay? How to participate and win. So you're going to join the Facebook group. You're going to check in starting the 11th, Saturday, next Saturday, January 11th. I'm going to give you the rest of this week to take the content that I share in the workshop today to help craft your non-negotiables. What are you focusing on? What are your habits that you're committing to for the challenge? Oh, Juliana said it's unclickable as I'm not a channel moderator, but copy and paste should work. Yeah, and it's just, if you want to search for the group in Facebook, it's Keto Bikini Secrets. If you go into Facebook and you use the search bar, it's Keto Bikini Secrets, and the group should pop up. Okay, so how to win. Join the Facebook group. You can opt to join the Academy if you would like, as I mentioned, to receive a training program that you can follow. If you decide, you know what, as a part of this challenge, what I want to do is I want to follow a training program. And I don't know which one to do or how to get started with training. Or I want to follow macros, but I want someone to help me with my macros and help me figure out personalized macros. And you want more, you want actual coaching and you want more of a community. Inside the Academy, we have Zoom calls weekly. And this is where we can go over anything and everything that you're struggling with. And we have community forums inside the app. We have a training forum, a food forum, a squad chat forum where everybody can share with each other and help each other beyond and off of Facebook. You have actual workouts with demo videos that you can follow. We have a ton of resources inside the Academy, educational resource vaults. So if that's something you're interested in, we dropped in the Facebook group all the details already about the challenge and that we are offering a discounted 1-month membership. This is not a subscription. Our regular month-to-month subscription costs $150 a month for the Academy. If you want to go month-to-month, generally, we have a discounted 3-month membership and then a 6-month membership that is the most affordable. The 6-month commitment is you're committing to sticking with us for 6 months, and that is $100 a month for 6 months. What we are doing as a special for the Grace and Grind Challenge is that if you would like to try out the Academy for the month of January during the Grace and Grind Challenge, you can join for 1 month that will end at the end of January, so you are not required to renew. It will not auto-renew. It will end on February 1st or February 2nd, the day after the challenge is over, and you will get 1 month for the 6-month price. So it will be $100 for 1 month, which is $50 off of our regular month-to-month rate, and you are not signing yourself up for a subscription. Mary Grace posted the link for someone in the Facebook group yesterday. I will post it and pin it to the top. So if you want to join for that discounted rate, that link will show up in the Facebook group, and that's where you can join us there. All right, but otherwise, there is no program, there's no purchase required. So you do not have to be a part of the Academy to be eligible for the prizes. Just make sure you check in all of those days. Now, even if you don't check in every single day for 21 days, you will still be entered into our weekly drawings. So I will be doing weekly prizes at the end of every 7 days of the challenge. And I'll probably give it a grace period of 8 or 9 days because we have people in different time zones. So I want to make sure I capture everyone all over the world and make sure anyone who has checked in for 7 days straight gets entered into those weekly prizes. So we'll do 3 weekly prizes, maybe multiple depending on what I feel like doing that week, but at least 1 prize weekly. Some of my favorite supplements and merchandise and things of that nature I'll just be giving away. And then if you check in for all 21 days, you'll be entered into one of our final drawings for our bigger prizes. And those prizes include a free month in the Academy, a free coaching or mini check-in call with myself or Coach Mary Grace, or half off an Academy membership package for 3 months or 6 months. So those will be random drawings. We'll at least give away one of each. We may be giving away multiples of each. So stay tuned for that. And as long as you have checked in all the 21 days, you will be eligible for any of those prizes. And if you are already in the Academy, these prizes would would apply for your next renewal. So whatever your commitment level is now, if you're on a 3-month membership, when that ends and it's time to renew, you would be able to apply your free month or half off a package or whatever it is that you want to your next package, okay? So everyone's eligible, whether you're inside the academy or not. All right. So if you have any questions about the logistical part of the challenge, drop them here. Or you can always drop your questions in the Facebook group anytime, and we'll answer them there. If you're watching the replay later on YouTube, drop your questions in the comments, and I will be reviewing those comments as well. But let's move on to the vision workshop portion of this call. So first things first, I am going to share with you my process at the end of every year. And I also usually do this around the 4th of July as well, because it's halfway through the year. So I typically do this twice a year. I review my vision and I plan the next 6 months to a year of my life. So goals, objectives, action items, things of that nature. So we'll start with, I always start with a year in review. I like to look back at what have I done this year, and very, very detailed. Before I think about the future and where I'm going, I want a clear picture of what I have done this year, accomplishments, challenges, setbacks, obstacles. I want to look at all of it. And that's part of that ownership. Let's look at the good, bad, and ugly. Let's look at the commitments I made. Did I hold up my end of the bargain? Did I not? Are there things I wanted to accomplish this year that I did not accomplish this year? It's very important to review these things. This is one of the reasons why so many people set New Year's resolutions and then they don't ever happen, and then they never look back at them, and then they just set new resolutions the following year without even looking at what they said they were going to do last year. So we're showing up, we are acting as the CEO of our lives and our bodies and our health. So let's first start by looking back at your last 12 months. Here's how I do my year in review. I pull out my phone. I pull up my calendar. And for those of you who are paper planner people, you probably have something like this, a planner that has your whole year in it. Okay, if you have your paper planner, pull out your paper planner. If you have one of those flip calendars that you keep for your family on the fridge or somewhere, pull that out. If you're an electronic girly, pull out your phone or your Google Calendar or whatever it is that you use to calendar things. This is the easiest way to remember what the heck happened 12 months ago, because I'll tell you what, I don't remember what happened last January off the top of my head, unless it was a major, major thing, right? So I pull out my planner, and then the other big thing that really helps me, because I am a visual person, and you may not always have everything on your calendar. I pull out my Google Photos app. So wherever you save your photos, I don't keep everything on my phone all the time. After a while, I move things off my phone and they all stay in my Google Photos. So I'll go to my Google Photos and I have years and years of photos on there. And I will go to January of 2024. And what I'll do is for each month of the year, I take out a blank page of my notebook. And I write down, and I use my big notebook for this because the little one is too small. So I'll pull out my big notebook and I write each. And if you're an electronic person, hey, I do this on the notes on my phone. I was out and about. I just wanted to start doing that. But pull out a piece of paper and just write January 24, February 24. Go through each month of the year. And what you're going to do is look through your photos, look through your calendar, and write down the memorable things that you find there. Anything that stands out for you. Oh my gosh, I was in the hospital. Oh my gosh, I forgot I broke my thumb. Oh, my daughter got married. Oh, I took that new job. I have my best friend's wedding on here from March, right? So for each month, just write down the big things that were happening or the little things that happened, anything that you can remember. You know, I got my blood work done and this is what my results of my blood work were. Go through the entire year, write it all out. Social events that you attended. If you remember things like arguments with your spouse or disagreements with somebody at work or big challenges like that, write that down. Seeing the images a lot of the time can remind you, and this is why the planner and the photos are so helpful, because it might remind you of something that happened around that time, around when these things were happening in your life, that you remember an emotional response to something, or you remember binge eating, or you remember something. So I want you to write it all down right now, the good, bad, and ugly. Just get a little summary of your year in front of you. Just bullet point it out. That's where you start. Okay? So start there. You're just going to brain dump a memories of the year. Now, once you're done with this, and I suggest doing this at separate times. So do that brain dump, put it aside, go do something else for a while, because it may take you a while to go through that. Come back to it the next day. I mean, these are things, as I walk through this stuff today, you could take from today through Saturday to each day, chunk a little piece of what I'm talking about here on this workshop. And then by the time you get to Saturday, that's when you can have a clearer picture of what your commitments are going to be for the challenge. But this will be the first step, is do your year in review brain dump. Now, the next session that you have with yourself, you're going to go back through these lists each month at a time and review your bullet points and say, out of all of the things I noted, you could have 2 different highlighter colors. I only have one highlighter here right now, but let's say these are both highlighters. You can highlight everything in one color that brought you energy, joy, peace, success, all of the positive events, items, memories, everything that brought good energy to you, made you feel amazing, things you considered wins, all of that, right? Highlighted in one color. And then go through and all of the things that detracted from or robbed you of your energy, your joy, your peace, your happiness, your success. Do all of that in another color. Now you have the whole year color-coded. That's your second session. And you might be able to do this all in one session. The next step would be, as you look through the things that you highlighted that were the energy builders, we'll call it your energy builders, circle the top 5 to 10 things. So you have highlighted, now you're going to circle them. And then go back through and look at all of the energy suckers of your life, all the things that, the energy stealers, the things that stole your energy, and circle the top 5 to 10 of those things. Ooh, Siv has a good question. So with the brain dump, should we try to organize as we do it? I love you, Siv. This is such a you question. All my ladies who overthink these things. Chronological, topical, or just dump it all? You mentioned going through a planner for ease, so maybe it should just be chrono. Hashtag overthinking. I love my ladies so much. You are so not alone. I know so many of you struggle with this. How exactly should I do this? No, chronological is the way I would do it. I would do January, write January on the piece of paper, go through your images in your planner and write down everything you remember from January. Then move on to February, then move on to March. And I like going back to January rather than starting from December and going backwards, because we have it's less likely we're going to have as vivid memory of January. I just want to jump back to clean slate. What the heck happened back then? Let me refresh my memory rather than starting backwards. But some people might want to start backwards. So yeah, I would just go chronologically for that part of it, for step 1. Now for step 2, that's when you're going to highlight. You're just going to go through the whole year and highlight all the energy builders, and then highlight in a different color all of the energy stealers. Then you're going to go back, and this is where you're going to give it a little thought, right? And what you could do at this stage of the game is go back and read through all the highlighted energy builders, and you can circle them, circle the top 5 to 10, or if you're a person who now needs a clean slate again, you can take another clean page and you can just write the ones that really stick out to you the most. And don't worry so much about how many you end up with. It might be 5, it might be 10, even if it's 15. You're now on a clean piece of paper and you've written down all of the energy builders that stuck out or resonated to you the most. You don't have to rewrite all of them. But try to, at this stage, cull it down to like the top 5 to 10. And the same thing with the energy stealers. You're going to write down the ones that really resonated or stood out to you the most, or circle them. If you're a person who doesn't mind working all off of that same page with the highlights, you can just circle them. Now, the next piece is the big piece. This is where you are going to take each of those things, and this is going to help you craft your year ahead, what you want to focus on this year. And this is what I call the stop, start, and continue list. But I have a new little twist to this. For those of you who remember the stop, start, and continue from past programs that we've done, I have a little more of a nuance that I think makes it that much more powerful or that much more helpful. So those things that you wrote down or you circled are informing what your start, stop, and continue list is going to look like. But this time, instead of just start, stop, and continue, we are going to have 4 columns on a piece of paper. You are going to have, oh, my chicken scratch is horrible. You're going to have 4 columns. Oh, this is just ill. All right. You're going to have do more. In the first column, more. In the second column, less. Do less of. Third column is start, and fourth column is stop. So you're going to have what you're going to do more of, what you are going to do less of, what you are going to start doing this year, and what you are going to stop doing this year. And these things are all informed by what you wrote out brought you energy or took from your energy. Thank you, Mary. You are amazing. She's writing everything in the chat. So y'all are getting a nice little play-by-play there for those watching the replay. Hopefully I think all of these comments stay. I hope. Anyways, so now you do your 4 columns. The do more and do less are your continue columns. These are the 2 columns that you identify things that you are already doing, that you've already done this last year. You're going to continue doing them, but some of them you're going to do more of, and some of them you're going to do less of. So those 2 columns are your continue stuff. Okay. Then the start and the stop columns. The stop column is going to be probably the easiest, the most glaring. There are going to be a few things. There are going to be a few things that you are going to see on that energy stealers list that are glaring, obvious. I need to not have this in my life anymore. Now, I don't have any rules about how many of these things you need to have on your list. I am just going to say don't make it a laundry list. It would be better for you to have less than 5 things in each list. So I would make it 5 things tops on each list. And this is all of this is just brainstorming. You're not committing to this for the year. There's no stress around, oh my God, I have to get this right because I can't change my mind about anything, okay? This practice is just to help you get really clear on what your life looked like over the last year and what you maybe don't want it to look like anymore. And all of this is informing what we're going to do in crafting the 1-year vision. Okay, so brainstorm out, pull from the energy stealers and the energy builders, and fill out your more, your less, your start, your stop lists, and have those at the ready. Okay, so that's your pre-work. That is the pre-work. That's the year in review and the start, stop, continue. You want to do that work before we move on to crafting the vision. Because if we don't know where we've been, we are not going to know where we're going. Okay. And yes, thank you, Mary. Nothing is concrete. And that's what I want you to remember about all of this. Your vision work, your goals, your objectives, your action items. None of it is in stone. You are the CEO. You get to change your mind about things. And this is why I like to review these things semi-annually at minimum, even quarterly, even monthly. You can go back and review these things. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit when we get to the challenge, because whatever you outline for the 21 days of the challenge, at the end of the challenge, I want you to review these things. And then you're going to pick something else maybe, or something you've already been working on during the 21 days to move into February with. Because what I want you to do is then create this plan for each month of your year. So at the end of the year, you have accomplished something major. You've taken little steps each month, okay? Oh, Juliana, thank you for that little note. When I edit the live, there's somewhere I can go to keep the chat comments. I remember seeing that, so I'll have to look for it. Yeah, I will definitely look for that. Thank you. Y'all are always teaching me stuff, especially all the tech stuff. I need all the help I can get. All right, ladies, you ready to move on to this 1-year vision work? All right. So what I aim to do here with your 1-year vision, those who are in Academy or who have ever worked with me privately, you know that we work a lot on the big why and the big why not exercises. Okay, so there are a couple of exercises that are very in-depth that have their own worksheets that we use in coaching. Essentially, what I'm going to do here is take those and cull them down into a very, very simple process. Okay. Now, those of you who are in Academy or are a private client and do have those worksheets, feel free to use them. Go all in and use those and let those be the thing that you're using here. I promised that I would do a big why and big why not workshop, and I will be scheduling that. Actually, that's one of the things I plan to do and hold myself to and commit to during the challenge. So sometime in January, I will be putting out those workshops, and I will make them available for a small fee to those outside of coaching. But anybody inside the Academy will get access to that for free. So rather than going through each of those in depth, I'm going to give you the very culled down, simplified version. Okay. So ultimately what our big why and big why not exercises are doing are helping us identify what we don't like about where we are, or maybe where we've been, or identifying fears of where we could end up in the future, the things we don't want to happen to us, the things that are vividly, viscerally painful for us to imagine or to experience if we're already experiencing them in our lives, and to get in touch with that pain. What are we running away from? because we are motivated by two different things. We are motivated by where we're going, where we want to go, and we are motivated even more so by what we are running from. And I will tell you what we are running from, the pain and the fears, is a much bigger driver, and it is the kind of thing that will make us move our ass when we're not feeling like it, more than the vision will. So we're going to start there. All right. Sabette, I know you are waiting for the workshop, but let me tell you, this is like your mini workshop. So this is it. This is essentially it in the Cliff's Notes version. But yeah, I got you, girlfriend. I'm not gonna let that go because I know you're waiting for it. And I know it'll really, really help our members in the future as well. Understanding really how to walk through those exercises in detail and in depth. All right, so here's where you want to start. Before you craft the vision, let's get very clear on the pain. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is write down the question. What do I not like about my current state of health and fitness that scares me if I don't change it? And I said current state, but it could be your past state. For those of you who've lost 100 pounds, I want you to tap in to where you were before you lost the weight. What was the original thing that got you started on this journey? Because your joints hurt, because it was painful to even walk because you were carrying all that weight around, because of the way people looked at you or treated you in that state of being. Whatever you were present to then or now. So if you are currently in a situation where you are having a lot of pain, physical, emotional, mental, whatever it may be, you need to identify the pain. So what do I not like about my current or past state of health that scares me if I don't change it? Health, fitness, body, any of those things. Now, I want you to consider every aspect of your life and how they are negatively impacted by this poor state of health or fitness. Now, it could be even for some of you, it may not be your current state. It may not be your past state. It may be what you saw your parent or your grandparent go through. A lot of my ladies talk about watching the effects of Alzheimer's and dementia in their parent or grandparent, being the caretaker of their parent or grandparent, and what they don't want to have to put their children through, and what they don't want to have to go through when they get to that point. A lot of the time, it's the genetic things, these disorders or these things that we watch our parents go through or our grandparents go through that give us the aha moment that will be me if I don't change my life. So connect to what that is, whether it's something you're dealing with now, something you dealt with in your past, or something you're watching a loved one go through or helping a loved one go through. And what you're going to write down is every aspect of your life and identify something for every aspect of your life. This is where it could get very tricky because you could say, well, the extra 20 pounds of fat I'm carrying around, that isn't doing anything to my finances. But I guarantee you this, Juliana, when she won our challenge, our summer shred, it's been over a year now, year and a half-ish, in 2023, what did she do after that? She found the confidence and the strength, and she had the motivation to go and get a new job, learn a new skill. She's crushing it now. So I challenge you, if you find that there's an area in your life, your relationships, your finances, your career, your hobbies. Of course, you're going to look at your health, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, maybe your spiritual life. All the areas of your life that matter to you, I want you to write them down. And then I want you to consider how this pain, this current, past, or potential future state of health that scares you, how will it negatively impact every area of your life if you continue going down the path that leads to that future? This is where you're envisioning the future you do not want. And I want you to identify as many things as possible that create an emotional response within you. If it does not elicit emotion, you are not on target. You're just thinking of things. It needs to connect. It needs to feel painful to you. I can tell you exactly how bulimia impacted my finances and my career. I didn't have the Bikini Academy. I barely had any clients. I was single and alone, and I was hiding. I was hiding from good quality men because I was afraid of showing up as who I was. I was afraid of sharing that part of my life for what they would think of me. I had left my old career and I had not yet built a successful business. I had to move back in with my parents at 38 years old. I couldn't afford my apartment. I couldn't put into my retirement anymore. And that was all related to my bulimia. And if I stayed blind to that and said, well, it's not really impacting any of those areas of my life, I'd be lying to myself. This is where you get really clear. Because I can guarantee you, if there is something you want to change about your physical wellness, it is absolutely impacting the other areas of your life, whether you know it or not. So this is where you bring it into awareness. Maybe you don't have a good sex life with your partner because you can't stand to see yourself naked. You don't have the confidence. You're down on yourself, so you're always rejecting your partner. Dig into those things. Or maybe you're alone and you're too afraid to put yourself out there to meet people. Dig into that. That is so, so key. So start there. What do I not like? Get really clear and write it all down. Anything you can think of, especially if it gives you a lump in your throat, makes you scared, makes you cry, makes you angry. That is a sign you're on the right track. Now, best to do that by itself, set it aside. And if you need to, go decompress, because it's gonna bring up a lot of emotion. So allow yourself to cry, punch a pillow or go to the gym or go take a walk. You're gonna need to release some of that emotion that it brings up, okay? Let that sit, step away from it, decompress, give it a day, come back. And that's when you want to do the next activity. And this is where we're really crafting the vision. So I like to start with that first, the pain first, because so many people have a really difficult time of crafting this future vision of who they want to be because they've never been there. Maybe you've been overweight your entire life. Maybe you've been ill or having physical pain your entire life, and you don't even know what it would be like to not live with chronic pain. So it's really hard to connect with that when you have not identified, what do I not like? So you're going to go back, you're going to pull back up that pain list, all of the things you don't like about where you are or your fears or all of that. And for each one of those things, you're going to write the exact opposite. This is where it will help you find the words to describe who you will be on the opposite of that. So flip each statement that you wrote about what you don't like, flip it around to the opposite to create a powerful vision of what you will look and feel like if you lived the exact opposite of those things. So let's say, for example, what you don't like about your current situation is that you wake up with joint pain every morning. It is hard to get out of bed and move about in your day. You're highly sedentary because pain is stopping you from moving. And if I were to ask you, what do you want life to look like? How do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? You'd probably say, not in pain, right? I just want to not be in pain. Well, that is not a powerful vision because the brain does not hear not. The brain does not hear that. So the brain is hearing pain. When you're saying, I don't want to be in pain, your brain is hearing, I want to be in pain. All it's hearing is pain, 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 pain. So we don't want to keep marinating on the pain. We use the pain as a driver to identify what's the opposite of pain. If I woke up in the morning and I did not have any more pain, how would I describe that without using the term pain? Anybody want to give me some examples? It is a workshop after all. I get out of bed effortlessly. I move effortlessly. I like this, Juliana. I want to wake up pain-free and optimistic, looking forward to the day. I like that. Pain-free still has the term pain in it, but pain-free sounds a lot better than not in pain. We don't want to talk about what we don't want when we are trying to create and affirm a different vision for the future. So pain-free. Now, what else could we say? What else does pain-free? How would you describe pain-free? And here's a little trick you can use. You can pull up a thesaurus and you can look up the opposite of the word. Ooh, Mary, this is awesome. I move out of bed and dance. You know, you're speaking to my heart, this dancer's heart. Oh, I love this. I want to walk freely down the hall. Beautiful. You can come up with certain types of movement you want to be able to do. How about thinking about all of the physical movement and the physical, Bronson's favorite word, physical freedom. How about that one? I want physical freedom. I wake up feeling free. I wake up feeling unlimited in how I can move my body. How about putting specifics to it? Dance, hike, swim. What are the activities that you would love to enjoy in your life that you currently do not engage in because they cause you pain? This is where we have to look at the language, and this is why we write the first things first. Right? We write down all the pain because then if you're having a hard time identifying what is the opposite of that, literally use the thesaurus and look it up. And it is going to give you a laundry list of words, and you are going to find and connect to so many words you have not even thought about before. A big one for me that is still on my list, but it was a big one when I was going through adrenal fatigue and I was exhausted all the time and I just had no energy. And I was like, I want energy. I want to feel energetic. And then I figured it out. Then I think I did use the thesaurus. Vibrancy. That is the word that really resonates for me. I can picture and I can feel how it would feel to feel vibrant in the morning. Alert, clear-headed. These are words like if you are thinking I don't want to have brain fog. I don't want to be tired. This is where you think of the opposite. Siv, I love it. Vitality. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, yes, yes. Explore the language, explore words, action verbs. It's so powerful. Jody, yes. I want to get up off the floor with ease and grace. I love the grace. Yes, move with grace. Oh, now we're talking. The momentum is just building here. This is beautiful. Mary, shining star, giving energy to all around you. Y'all, you can't help but smile and like light up when you hear these words. This is, if you could feel, and you will feel this when you read through later on, when you're done with both activities, read through the pain statements and you will find that you are doing this. You're shrinking down, you're low energy, you feel the emotions, you feel the sadness and the pain and the anger that those words hold. And then when you read through the vision statements, you open up, you feel this happiness, you feel this lightness, you feel this energy, this vibrancy, this vitality. You can't help but think and feel the way that the words resonate to you. That's what we want to connect to here. So the second part of that exercise is to find those opposites, find those words, those statements that identify the vision that you are creating, who you want to be, how you want to feel in your body. And this could be a year from now, it could be 6 months from now, it could be 5 years from now, the future vision, right? I use 1 year as an example, but the future vision, that's where you're going, because we have to craft the vision before we can get clear on what the steps are that are going to take us there. All right, so before we get into the next steps, let's just reflect, summarize what we've done so far. We did a year in review, looked back at each month of the past year, and just did a brain dump of what happened in those months. Took a look back and highlighted all of the energy stealers and the energy builders from the past year. And then we circled or wrote down the top 5 to 10 things from each list, and we narrowed it down into 5 or less things that we will do more of, or we'd like to do more of this year, do less of, start something new, or stop doing. Now, then we started to craft our 1 year vision by first identifying the pain points, everything we don't like or we don't want our future to look like, and how it will impact all the areas of our lives. Then we took those statements and we flipped them around, created the exact opposite, the power statements, the powerful vision of where we're going. To solidify all of this and to help put you in the frame of mind for setting your intentions for the year and for the challenge, here's what I recommend you do with the work you've already done so far. You can take your pain list and your vision list, and you could just resolve to keep them nearby and review them daily or weekly. But more powerfully would be if you cull down your vision into a simple vision statement, one or 2 sentences, or even just a few words that represent what that vision is, that when you hear those words or see those words or read that statement, all of the rest of it comes to your mind and it's front of mind. Okay, so you can write down a vision statement. Even more powerful would be recording yourself from that place of how you feel when you read those vision statements and you're in that energy that you want to create for yourself in a year or more. Record yourself reading that statement in that energy and listen to yourself on playback every day. I have often told y'all this is what I did when I was crafting my vision for my business and my future as a coach. I wrote it all down and I read it all out on an audio note, and I played it for myself when I was still working my old job, driving in there every day. In the commute, I would listen to it on my drive or while I was brushing my teeth in the morning. Now, you could take it one step further and create an image or find an image, a photo that represents that vision. One image. You can frame it or create a poster of it and put it up where you can see it daily. Bronson just put his up in his office. Mine is going to go right there on that blank wall behind me. Because my word for the year, I called it down to one word that represents the vision that I created for 2025 for myself. And my vision is very much about leaning in, showing up, expanding my knowledge, expanding my skills as a CEO and a business owner, refining my image, refining my message, refining my marketing, refining everything, getting organized and focused, operating like a CEO. So my word for the year is elevate or elevation. It's all about taking everything to the next level. So my image is going to be of a dancer, of course. Elevation, elevating, probably a dancer jumping or up on her toes or something. And every time I see that one image, I'm going to think about all of those things. And it will be front and center where I'm going to see it all day, every day. Now, another thing you can do, another version of this that a lot of you love to do, is create a vision board. And this is the same idea of the one image, but this would be multiple images and words that represent that vision on a board. I know a lot of y'all love to do that. And I did find a couple of my old ones. I'm going to show y'all. All right. This is when I was in my healing era. I had, let's see what's on here. Reading room, exhale with like a little meditating girl there, relaxing, meditating, best life. Look at the coffee. Travel, discover the unexpected. Daughter of the soil. Juliana, shout out to you. I think that's when I was wanting to create a garden. This is many, many years ago. The struggle is over. And that's a little bit more pain language, but nevertheless, challenge yourself, jump off the deep end, and learn to swim. So lots and lots of like Zen healing kind of stuff on this one. And then this one, cover girl goals. And I have some fitness models. Oksana winning the Fitness Olympia. Cover models, born to outperform. Tiny but mighty, y'all know. You love my little girls, my petite ladies out there. This one, look at this, y'all. And I'm trying to remember what year this was. It was definitely before I had my business to the point that I do now. Trusted. And these are all transformations that I wanted that to represent what I did with my clients. And y'all already know that's what we do. So this came true for sure. I have actually had my first magazine features and multiple. I have not won my title yet, so that one would stay on there for sure. And then this was body in balance. I think I had drinking more water as a goal that year. So there you go. There's a few different ways that you can take your vision and make it more present to you on a day-to-day basis. So I love the audio recording idea. Reading your statement, you could do that, or creating a vision board or one image that is present to you, because that's the key here, is keeping it present to you. Now, here's the crux. We'll move into the setting your intentions for the challenge. Okay, how does your vision then drill down into the challenge? Okay, so you're now going to take the pre-work that you did. You're going to have your vision, your image right in front of you. You're going to have your start, stop, and continue lists next to you. And you are going to consider some goals for the year before we even get into the 4 areas of the challenge. Or you can have those 4 areas in front of mind: fitness, nutrition, personal development, and self-care. Although the way I did it was I just set some personal goals and intentions for the year that also translate into a lot of the things I want to do in business. I did not make a laundry list. I did make a laundry list, but not for this, of all the ideas and all the things I would like to do with my business. But that would be too much to add to this. So when I'm thinking about the year ahead, my personal goals and intentions, and I set 7 of them for the year. Dance. That is something I had on my do more of list, but really it belongs on the start list, because I went back and looked over last year and I did not go to the dance studio at all last year. So dance more, deepen my faith and my spiritual life, purge my spaces, declutter. That is a big goal I have this year, of making space for the new by clearing out the old. There's things I brought from all of our moves that I just have not made the time to focus on. Optimizing my health. This is a big one with my hormones, going back to the gynecologist, getting some additional blood work, considering HRT, all the things that will help me optimize my health. 5 is improving my skincare and my hair care regimen. So what might I be thinking about when it comes to the self-care piece, right? And then here are the 2 big ones as it relates to my business and my world as an athlete. Cultivate CEO energy. So become a CEO in the way I think, in the way I move, in the way I act. And then number 7, step my game up as an athlete, because I want to go for a championship title this year. So those are my kind of overarching big 7 goals for my year. Okay, so I would say the first thing I would have you do is just write down, what are my big goals this year? As I reflect over my start, stop, and continue list, and I think about my vision, what I want and what I don't want, what would I write down for some goals and intentions for the year as a whole? When I walk out of 2025 and we are entering 2026, what would I like to have done that year? All right. So I did some brainstorming as it related to my goals. And then I continued this brainstorming to give you all lots and lots of ideas for things that you could potentially consider for each area. Now, please do not just pick something that I'm telling you here. I want it to be based on your personal pre-work that you've already done. But I'm going to give you a whole bunch of examples. And feel free, for those of you who've already been considering it, because some of y'all are overachievers, or just like to get ahead of things, or if you have ideas as you're listening, write down your ideas and we'll share those as well. So your daily checklist of items, your 4 areas for the Grace and Grind Challenge: fitness, nutrition, personal development, self-care. So starting with fitness. For me, a big one I have identified is that I would like to start a new habit of morning movement, meaning I am moving my body early in the day. It's not just about getting my training in and or my cardio whenever I possibly can, even if it's at the last minute, because it directly relates to my goals for the year, meaning I want to step my game up as an athlete and I want to cultivate CEO energy and I want to optimize my health. It kind of links to all of those goals. If I get up and move my body early in the day, that will help me with those 3 goals. So you see how they connect. I want these to connect to what you're trying to accomplish in your year and in your vision. If it doesn't connect to your vision and your goals for your life, why the heck are you doing it? Okay? I'm not signing up for a marathon. I'm not going to start training to do a 5K just because it's something that will get me moving. That has nothing to do with my vision. Morning movement will help me operate like a CEO. Most CEOs are waking up at 5 a.m. or going to train at 5 a.m. and they are doing morning movement before they do anything else. It's just something that I have learned and researched. That is a very, very common thing with CEOs, right? So what are you doing and how is it relating to your vision? Here's some other ideas for fitness. Some of the ones that relate to my goals. Dance, at minimum 1 time a week. 1 to 2 times a week. Dance is going to be a priority for me because that directly relates. Now for you, maybe it's another physical activity that you enjoy, a physical hobby you enjoy. Put that on the list. Juliana brought up on the Q&A call and is relevant here that you may not have the exact same thing for your movement every single day. But what I want you to do at the beginning of the challenge is commit to what is your fitness goal or plan for the 21 days of the challenge. So maybe that is, for example, those of you in the academy, maybe if you've been slacking on your training, you would commit to doing all of the training, the 4 days of training that we have in the beginner or intermediate program or the 5 days in the advanced program. You're going to commit to doing all of your KBA training, all of the training sessions. You may not do every single exercise or every single set or rep, but you're committing to doing each of the training workouts, right? And then you would have, okay, well then what's your fitness for the other 2 or 3 days of the week? I made this a little easy for you because at least for my advanced ladies, we're going to have recovery activities on the 2 days that we don't have training. So if you say, I'm going to do my KBA training, and that includes all the recovery days, for advanced, that's going to be 7 days a week. For beginner and intermediate, that's going to be 6 days a week. So that's 6 out of your 7 days. Now you just need to decide what is that fitness thing going to be on day 7. And I highly encourage taking 1 full rest day a week. So maybe that's another recovery day or active recovery. A simple one for a lot of you, if you're not already keeping track of your daily activity, tracking your daily activity could be a fitness activity, a fitness habit. Maybe you're not even ready to commit to a daily fitness routine or practice yet, but tracking your activity could be your fitness habit. For 21 days, you're going to track and see what your activity looks like. And I guarantee you, you will probably start to move more just from doing that. That counts. It could be a daily walk that you commit to doing any time of day. It doesn't have to be morning movement. It could be an end of the night stretch. You're going to stretch. Juliana, you are just reading my mind. Recovery and stretching and intentional movements. You could say, morning and night, when I get out of bed and when I go to bed, I'm going to stretch. Mary, I like this. 1 day a week to dance doing Tai Chi. I love it. You could set a daily step goal. If you've already tracked your activity and you know your activity is low, let's say 3,000 steps or less, maybe you make a goal of 4,000 steps a day or 5,000 steps a day. So it's all about what's personal to you and what is going to move the yardstick for you. Do not choose something that you are already doing well, that you could do with your hands tied behind your back, that you don't have to think about at all. That is not a challenge. Okay, so what is the challenge going to be for you? We just finished the stomach vacuum challenge for December. That could be something. You could choose to do stomach vacuums every day, even if it's just one per day. I did not complete the stomach vacuum challenge. I'm falling on my sword. I completely forgot about it some days. And this is one of the reasons why I am committing to doing my daily check-ins with you for the Grace and Grind Challenge. Because that was something I threw out there. Y'all loved it and ran with it. And some of y'all crushed it with the stomach vacuum challenge. And I just forgot about it. And then I'd see y'all's posts. I'd be like, oh yeah, shoot, I was going to do that this month. See, I'm not perfect either. So that's something you could do and just say, I'm going to do one per day. It doesn't have to be anything crazy or intense. All right, so that's fitness. Let's brainstorm nutrition. Nutrition. So I think for mine, I've been thinking about this because there are arbitrary things I could pick to do. Like, hey, it's World Carnivore Month. I could go carnivore. I could go lion diet. I could give up protein powder. I could give up coffee. I have zero desire to do that. And I have zero need or reason to do that, to be quite frank. What I'm doing is working well for me. So that is not going to be my focus for nutrition. For some of you, maybe it is. Maybe doing an elimination diet is a step in the right direction for you for your nutrition. Maybe it's just setting a protein goal for yourself. Not even worrying about all the other macros, but just tracking your protein and setting a goal to hit a certain amount of protein per day. Maybe if you're going low carb or keto or carnivore, you want to limit your carbs to a certain number. Maybe you want to say, you know what? I've got the protein down, but man, I keep letting myself off the hook and going, high carb, low carb, trying to get back into keto a million times every week. I'm just going to set a limit and say I'm not going to go over 25 total grams of carbs or 30 grams of carbs. Maybe you just set a carb goal. Okay. Maybe you decide to dial in all of your macros. Maybe you're in the academy and you have personalized macros set for you and you have not been following them. And you decide, hey, for the 21 days, I'm going to nail my macros. I'm going to dial it in and I'm going to get within 5 grams of my macros every day. I think that's what it's going to be for me because as of yesterday, I am 8 weeks out to the Arnold stage, the Angel Competition Bikinis fashion show on the Arnold stage, one of the biggest bodybuilding expos of the year. And I have stayed pretty lean since my last show. I've stayed at my peak week weight, essentially up 1 pound from my peak week weight. But I want to shred for the Arnold fashion show and then potentially continue shredding for to get the leanest I have ever been for competing potentially in April. So I think I'm going to dial back in on my macros because I've been very much allowing myself to eat intuitively. It has worked quite well. But now that I want to go into this mini cut, it's time to get a little more serious. So dialing in macros might be your goal for nutrition. Maybe for those of you who just have not either ever or just have not recently been tracking what you're eating, you just commit to tracking with no goals, no specific protein goal, no specific carb limit, no specific dialing in macros. Just I'm going to track what I'm eating for 21 days. Everything that I eat, if it touches my mouth, food, beverage, I am going to track it. Like I said, maybe you want to change your food selections. Maybe you're deciding to go keto or go carnivore. Maybe you're deciding to eliminate dairy or eliminate packaged foods, packaged keto products. Maybe you want to do a different kind of elimination protocol. Maybe there are trigger foods you think might be bothering you and you want to eliminate them for a period of time. You could decide not to do any snacking. You could say, I'm only going to eat meals. If I'm eating, it has to be a meal. I will not snack. That would be a powerful one. You could take my no sweets challenge and say there will be nothing sweet, no added sweeteners of any kind, no sweet foods of any kind. I'm not going to eat anything sweet for 21 days. And then this is the one we've been chatting about in the academy. Juliana says, I have never tracked my electrolytes at all. So you could set a water goal. You could say, I'm going to drink 64 ounces of water a day or 80 ounces of water a day. My personal goal is 100 ounces of water a day. And I track my electrolytes. So Juliana, that was a big thing for her. Tracking electrolytes to see if there are days where her sodium's a lot higher or a lot lower, and if it connects to any symptoms she might be having. Super powerful. And Mary's correct. Chronometer makes it very easy. If you use the Chronometer app, it tracks all of your micronutrients. You could decide to track your micronutrients and just say, I'm going to start looking at my micronutrients, and am I getting enough of all the different vitamins and minerals? You could pick one and say, I'm going to track my zinc this month. Really, it could be anything that resonates for you. Couple of other ideas. You could adjust your meal timing. You could say, I've been eating way too close to bedtime, and I want to set a time 3 hours, 4 hours before bedtime, or a particular time of day, particularly if your bedtime is very much consistent. You could say 6 p.m. is my cutoff. I'm not going to eat after 6 p.m. A lot of you like to do intermittent fasting. Maybe you switch up how you do intermittent fasting. One of the things I recommend for optimal health, optimizing your cortisol rhythms and your circadian rhythm, is eating in the morning and not at night. So if you're one of my ladies who are skipping breakfast and then not eating until 2 or 3 in the afternoon and doing an OMAD or eating until 8 p.m. at night or something, moving your eating window earlier in the day could be something that you try for this challenge. Mary says, shrink your eating window, IF increase. Particularly if you're doing the longer intermittent fasting or you're not doing intermittent fasting at all and you want to start, then that might be a good idea. What I would not recommend is if you are already only eating within a 6 or an 8 hour window, I would not cut that down to a 4 hour window. For women in particular, especially if we are, worried about our muscle mass and bone density and things of that nature, I highly recommend against what Mary just commented, 1 meal a day. I highly recommend against 1 meal a day for women. It's not going to be beneficial for your muscle building goals, your strength, your recovery, and on and on and on and on. So TMAD, 2 meals a day at minimum is what I generally recommend. Or 3. I do like 3 meals a day too. Okay. And then one more thing. Here's another idea. Meal planning. Maybe you have been winging it and you have just never set a meal plan for the week. You never looked at your week and said, okay, here's what I'm planning for my meals. Or meal prep. Maybe you plan, but you don't prep. Maybe prepping your meals ahead, batch cooking is something you haven't done that if you did that, it would likely benefit you. So meal planning or meal prep might be another great challenge. Now, here's the reminder. One thing. These were all a lot of great ideas. Do not try to do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them for this challenge. Pick one. Okay. And I'm going to grab water while we're talking about water before we dive into personal development, because personal development is going to be a big one. There's a lot of things that could fit under that umbrella. So talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Here's how I stay on top of my water and electrolyte intake for the day. Little pro tip. This is about a little more than 80 ounces, this whole jug. So I fill that up beginning of the day or the night before, actually. I usually do it at night. And I put 2 packets of electrolytes in here. And then I just pour from that all day long, so I don't have to remember how many times I've refilled my water bottle. And usually I will finish this and then have another one of these, which will get me to 100 ounces or more for the day. And then I refill this every night, so I can easily keep track. And another little tip I shared on one of my master classes was something I saw on TikTok. If, let's say, you don't do the big jug thing and you're on the go, put the number of hair ties or rubber bands around your water bottle that you know you need to consume that day to hit your goal. I would do 5 of these because this is 20 ounces. So 5 of these would get me to my 100. And then every time I finish one and I refill it, I take one off. So at the end of the day, if I do all 100 ounces, there will be no elastic bands left at the end of the day. Okay. I love this. Siv mentions, I want to do all the things. Picking one is hard. And Juliana shares, same, but I already had a big chat with myself about this being a long game. I have vowed to not white knuckle this challenge. Yes, ma'am, that is what this is all about. That is what it's all about. New habits. Yes, Holly, new habits. And the key is, if we start 10 new habits all at the same time, good luck even remembering everything you committed to, let alone actually doing it for 21 days. So you got to cull it down. It doesn't mean you can't do the other things. Okay? It doesn't mean you can't also meal prep, meal plan, meal prep, follow macros. You can do all of that. But what is the one thing that you are focusing on as your priority? Okay? And then much like a lot of other things, you will end up doing better in all things because the rising tide lifts all boats. So if you plan to hit macros and that is your number one priority, guess what? You're probably going to meal plan. You're probably going to meal prep. You're probably going to, have some of these other things that you'll do because it's going to help you with that one thing. But focus on the one thing, and it's totally fine if you do more than the one thing. The only thing is, I don't want you hanging your hat on an expectation that you're going to be doing 6 of these things all at once. Juliana says she couldn't use the hair ties because she's got too many girls in the house. Yeah, they will turn up missing, I'm sure. Or even for those of you with cats, good luck, right? I know the cats tend to steal and hide them, and you'll never find them again. Oh, Mary, I love this reframe. This mental reframe is beautiful. 1 new habit monthly gets you 12 new habits by the end of the year. That is it. I just watched a video the other day. I'm going to have to find it for y'all because one of the things I'll probably be doing a lot throughout this challenge is sharing in the Facebook group little gems I find online, these motivational videos. But there was this particular video talking about making habits stick, and the key being that you focus on these few habits. By the end of this time frame, you should be able to do them on autopilot. That should be your goal over the 21 days of this challenge. So if you nail it with your particular focus, and now you can hit your macros on autopilot, then that's no longer hard for you. You can move on to a new habit the following month. But if you're trying to do 5 of them and you can't do any of them well, then you're going to have to continue to work on all 5 of those right? So what you're doing is you're focusing on one to make it automatic, to make it easy, to where now it's not a challenge anymore. Now it's just what you do. And then next month you can work on something new. Okay, so it's introducing only one new thing at a time. All right, let's talk about personal development. What the heck does that even mean, right? This is where you have so much leeway here to decide what personal development means to you. It could be expanding your knowledge on any particular subject or hobby of yours. Reading a book or consuming some kind of educational material about something. Bronson's working toward his master's degree, finishing up his master's degree. So he has coursework. That could be personal development. Personally, here's what it's going to be for me. My NASM certification, which is my certified personal trainer certification, is up for renewal in less than 3 months now. So I need to receive enough CEUs, educational credits, that will go toward my renewal so I can renew that certification. So one of those is something I've mentioned to y'all before that went on the back burner last year because it wasn't a priority at the time. And it was the Girls Gone Strong menopause certification. So that certification will earn me CEUs that I can use to renew my CPT. So that is my personal development. It's something that would continue to sit on the back burner, but this is a perfect time to pull it out because now I have a timeline that is motivating me to move that into the priority spot. It also aligns, once again, go back to the vision, it aligns with my vision to step up my game as an athlete and cultivate the CEO energy and optimize my health. It will help me optimize my own health by learning more about menopause. It will help me be a better coach and have a better business because I can serve my menopause clients better. I'm up-leveling my skills. Elevation. I am elevating my skill set, right? So there's an idea. A course, a class, a book, even any kind of educational material. It could be mindset work, brain retraining. You could just decide every day I'm going to listen to a YouTube video from a mindset expert. Dr. Joe Dispenza, for example, or Jim Rohn, or who's the other one that's been popping up? Oldie but a goodie. I'm forgetting now, has been popping up on my feed. So you could listen to something daily that will help you retrain your brain in the way that you think about a particular thing. Or a motivational video or a podcast. Every day, you're just going to commit to listening to a particular podcast on a particular thing that you want to work on. This is what personal development is all about. It's who do I want to be as a person and what will help me become that person? What do I want to improve about myself? Do I want to expand my knowledge on something? Do I want to change my mindset about something? Is there something that I've, learned about myself that I need to lean into? Professional development in your career. It could be, once again, a course, a class, a book, a training that your company provides, something professionally that would help you move forward in your profession. It could be something about, if you discover that you are a procrastinator, you could just commit to learning something to help you overcome your procrastination daily. Maybe you want to become a morning person. So personal development for you could be committing to waking up 30 minutes earlier or an hour earlier and developing a morning routine. If you want to become more disciplined, Maybe there is something you can listen to or learn or read about, a book or a podcast that would help you with your discipline. Ultimately, is anything that would develop you as a person. Could be financial. Maybe you want to learn about stock trading. Maybe you want to learn about budgeting. Maybe you want to improve your finances. There is no shortage. It could just be a hobby you want to get better at, a skill you want to develop. Have fun with it. What are any ideas that you all have thought about or are considering? This is one you can definitely go back to your start, stop, and continue list and say, okay, what did I do last year that I'm not proud of? Personally, I'm terrible with time management. So if I took 21 days to really focus on getting better with time management, that would improve my life significantly. As a matter of fact, I probably should do that. But I can only pick one to focus on for the challenge. Once again, it doesn't mean you can't do more than one, but what is the one thing you're going to focus on for the challenge? But time management is definitely something that aligns with my CEO vision, with where I want to go, and it's a personal development item. I'm going to write that down because I did not write that down before. So if not for January, that would probably be my second priority of the year for February. Okay. Any questions about personal development or thoughts you had about what might be a good idea there? I might make time management my one for the challenge because I can still work on the course, but it doesn't have to be my focus. I think time management, and this is like real time, right? Here's how I think about these things. If I improve my time management, for example, another thing I've studied that a lot of CEOs do is they block schedule their time, and they are very, very strict about sticking to the schedule that they create. If I do that, guess what else will probably get done? I'll complete that course because I'll time block it and I'll stick to that. So I think time management just jumped to the top of the list there. And the other thing will probably get done as a function of it. Yes, B. Rose, do you listen to Diary of a CEO? Good stuff from that one. Yes, that is a really, really good one. And I do indeed listen to it. Ooh, Sabette, I love this. Putting the beast in its place. How to and dismiss urges to binge. Yes. Oh my gosh. Some of my favorite books with that. Never Binge Again and Brain Over Binge. My top 2 books on that topic. That would be incredible to focus on. And yes, James Clear's Atomic Habits, huge. Matter of fact, we'll probably be sharing some stuff from that throughout the challenge itself because it's all about habits. And he talks about a lot of the stuff that we're talking about in the challenge is not biting off more than you can chew, setting realistic goals, habit stacking, all of that stuff. All right. I love it. I love it. These are good things. All right. Final area, and this is self-love. And or self-care. Probably should have made this first because this is the one thing that you women, us women, just tend to put it at the bottom of the list all the time. So I will be challenging you throughout these 21 days not to let self-care always be the last thing you think of in the day. I may even reorder these and put self-care first. Because personally for me, it will be first in my day. And so that's something I'll challenge you to consider. So for my personal goal for self-care, throughout the challenge, it will be establishing my power morning routine. And one thing that used to be sacred to me at the beginning of my day is that the first 5, 15, 30 minutes of my day were for me. I would sit in my favorite little spot, either that little corner of the couch, or I'd go out on the balcony and sit and do my daily devotional, my meditation, sometimes journaling. That has been a thing that I've been diving into my day. I have not been time blocking, and I have not been holding it sacred, and it has fallen to the back burner way too much over this last year. When I look at my year, so that once again, this is why we do the year rewind, right? Reflect over the year first. That is something I would like to make first in my day again. So for me, self-care is going to be my meditation time in the morning, or my silent time in the morning. Power morning routine. For you, maybe it is establishing a morning routine. Maybe you do not have a morning routine. You're always jumping right into your day. Establishing what that might be for you. Maybe it is a nighttime routine. Having a curfew where you shut down the lights, the electronics, the family, and you're like, this is my time. I'm taking 30 minutes to do my skincare routine, I'm going to read a book in bed, or whatever it is for you, but a nighttime bedtime ritual. That would be a powerful thing to do, especially for those of you who struggle with your sleep. It could be a daily journaling practice. A lot of our ladies in the academy are considering really taking that challenge because it has been a major challenge for them to journal every day, or to journal at all, actually. It could be a daily prayer and scripture reading for those of you who are spiritual, religious. It could be daily affirmations or mantras. Juliana mentioned writing one of her 2025 affirmations, which is meal planning is my superpower, and I use it to create a balanced and delicious life. I love that. She says, that's mine. Doing my mindset work and my self-care, knitting something very challenging that requires absolute concentration. No one may enter my space for that tech-free hour before bed. Oh, that is so beautiful. I cannot wait to hear your updates on how that goes, and how I just already know that's going to make you feel amazing. Your body is going to respond. Oh, your body is going to be so happy with you for putting it into that parasympathetic state and giving yourself that time. Let's see, recovery practices. So we talked about this in the fitness section, but this could be a self-care item. So let's say Civ over there, overachiever, wanting to do all the things. Maybe you had like 2 or 3 things you loved from the fitness section. You could make recovery practices, stretching, foam rolling, sauna, whatever it may be for you. You could make that your self-care piece. And then that way your fitness piece can be something else. Oh, yes, Sabette, breath work. Powerful, powerful practice. Powerful practice. Oh, Maria, I love it. Look at that. Staying off social media in the evening, teaching myself to crochet. You are in good company, love. We've got the knitters and the crocheters and the cross stitchers in our group. I love it. If you are a biohack babe, you know, that's not my jam, but I know Mary, for example, loves her cold plunge. And when she does her cold plunge, her whole day is better. So that is her self-care. And I know that's a major part of her daily self-care. When she does that, everything else is better. Red light therapy. Maybe you're into that and you want to establish a daily red light therapy practice. Reading for pleasure. Maybe you have a physical book you want to sit down and read. somebody just gifted me a new book for Christmas that I think I mentioned to y'all. If any of you remember the Paleo Mom back in the paleo days when paleo was super hot, Dr. Sarah Ballantyne has written a book called Nutrivore. It sounds like it could be kind of a flying in the face of a lot of what we do in keto and carnivore, but I am interested in listening to her point of view and with an open mind, because I do not like to just keep myself in an incubator of everybody who thinks like me. So that's a book I want to start reading. So if you have a physical book or even an Audible that you want to read just for pleasure or listen to, that could be your self-care. What else do I have on here? Pampering kind of things, a skincare or a hair care routine, getting your nails done, hot shower, hot bath, engaging in a favorite hobby or activity that you enjoy. So any of those things. If you're a person who enjoys cooking or baking new recipes, that could be part of your self-care. There is nothing any of us can tell anybody else that their self-care should be. What feels like care and love? That's why I like to call it self-love as well. What feels loving to myself? What feels peaceful and joyful? Not stressful, not, it's a challenge because we are now challenging ourselves to actually give ourselves of that time. But it should not feel difficult for you to do this thing. It may feel difficult to find the time for it, but when you think of self-care, it should feel loving and enjoyable to you. It should not feel like something you're struggling to do and you're not interested in doing. That's not self-care. Carol put in dry January. I love that because you'd probably consider that. A lot of people would probably consider something like eliminating alcohol to be in your nutrition stuff, which you could put it there, or it absolutely is a form of self-care. It could go in self-care and then you can focus on something else for your nutrition piece. I love that. That is so, so powerful. It is one of the best things I ever did for my life was stop drinking. And now I never have any interest or desire in consuming alcohol at all. There's never a time that I want to have anything. It's just not even a part of my life anymore. And I'm thrilled about that. All right, ladies, I think that is all I have for you today. So let's wrap it up here. We're just under 2 hours. If you have any questions, if you're struggling, let's workshop through this in the Facebook group. You have all week. You can take these exercises that I talked about. I'm going to get some worksheets ready for you to use as well that I'll drop in the Facebook group to help you work through these things, your year rewind, your start, stop, and continue lists, your 1-year vision, and then crafting those intentions for the challenge. So do your brainstorming, use these tools, and then drop into the Facebook group and let us know what you're thinking. If you're struggling to make any decisions about anything, we can help you out. We'll be happy to talk through it there. I'm just super excited to get started with this. And if y'all have any other questions about the challenge or anything else, holler at me. Otherwise, good luck this week. Happy New Year again to all of you. Let's make it what we want it to be. You have the power, and we're going to make you even more powerful over the next month. Carol asks, do we put our one each for our focus items in the Facebook group? Yeah, you can share them. Once you know what they are, you can totally drop them in any day this week. And then on the 11th is when we'll start our official daily check-ins. But yeah, let's start there. As you make your decisions, let's go ahead and make that commitment public. Hold yourself accountable by putting it out in the universe and knowing that somebody else knows what you have committed to, so we can keep you honest throughout the challenge. I love that. Lots of homework. Yeah, we're going to start this first full week of the new year diving into the deep work. This is the stuff, y'all. This is the sticky stuff that makes the new habits stick. When we go inside and we reflect and we make plans and we make commitments to ourselves. I love it. I'm excited. I cannot wait to hear all of the insights you are going to have as you go through this process, and to share my own with you, because I plan on sharing the good, bad, and the ugly, as I always do with y'all. You know, I keep it real. So I will see you inside the Facebook group. Let's have some fun. Let's level up. And if you decide that you have a one word for the year, feel free to share that as well. Your word for 2025. Let's share, let's inspire. You'll probably give everybody else a whole bunch of ideas as well as you share your commitments for the challenge. So cheers to you and the grace and grind with which you will be moving through the first month of 2025. I love y'all. See you on the interwebs.